I will be assuming you know how to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded using old Pokemon and at least know how the M2 method works. If you do not know how M2 works at all, just check out a video. You don't need to learn the special cases right now, you just need to get the gist of the method. So the R2 BLD method is a method for solving corners blindfolded, which works pretty much in the exact same way as M2. So in M2, this is the buffer and this is the exchange sticker, and you just set up a piece here and you do M2 to interchange. Same way in R2, this is the buffer, this is the exchange piece, and you just set a piece up and then do R2 to interchange. Also, just like in M2, if a letter comes second in the letter pair and is part of the M slice, you do the opposite. For example, I will be using the special lettering scheme. Hope I pronounced that right. If you get I, you do S. So just like that in R2, if you get J, you're gonna do the opposite if it's second in the letter pair, and you're gonna go to T. So back in around 2008 to 2010, M2 and R2 were actually the intermediate methods for blindfolded solving, but as cubing hardware evolved, ergonomics became more important than move count, so R2 just became less popular due to it being less ergonomic. So I'll just be showing you how the pieces get set up in R2 so that you get a basic gist of it. Anything on the L slice is actually the best. So for E, you can just set this up like exchange and reverse. I set up H to E to do this. As for F and G, there's an easier way to do this. You can just simply move this back piece, set it up, interchange, and reverse. Same goes for G, you just do an L2. As for A, it's simply this 4 mover, L prime, U prime, L, U. You can figure out how that works. Interchange and then reverse. So for A, I, U, and S, you can just set them up to A. For example, if I want to do I, set that up to A, 4 mover, interchange, reverse, and then bring I back to where it was. As for pieces like R, D, L, and X, these are a bit tricky, so you can either set them up to R or you can set them up to L. The way R works is U prime, F prime, L2, F, U. You can figure out how that works. It's not really that hard if you already know how to set up pieces in old Pokemon. Do R2. And the best thing about R is that the reverse is the exact same, so that's what I like. As for L, it's a bit more ergonomic. So if you do this, you set the piece up to A, then you just exchange A, and then you bring back L to where it was. So that covers all the non-special cases. What about the special cases already in the R slice? Now this is actually the reason R2 isn't as ergonomic as OP, because in M2, if you know the special cases, you know that only I and S are pretty much only the bad cases. But in R2, there are no good special cases, I would say. So the thing is, of course, you don't count the buffer, you don't count this piece since this is just R2. But for the rest, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even on the exchange piece, 7 and 8. So that's 8 special cases you want to learn. So before going on with this video, if you are serious about blindfolded, there is no point of learning R2 since it's just not a suitable speed solving method anymore. But if you're like me and just really enjoy the method, then just go on. So firstly, let's start off with the exchange piece. So N and Q are pretty similar. Let's go with N first. Then with Q. For the rest of the pieces, I will be just showing you guys in pairs of opposites of them. So firstly, let's start off with M, which is I think pretty similar to the T-poem. Then the opposite of M is O, which is simply the inverse. Then we go with J, which is slightly tricky. And then there's rotation. Then the opposite of J is T. Then C. Opposite of C is W. Make sure that you do an R prime in the end, since a lot of people tend to do R and then mess up. So if you know how to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, you would also be wondering about the parity algorithm. So since M2 and R2 were supposed to be used together, this parity algorithm can only be used if you're using R2 with M2. So it goes like this. So it exchanges both these pieces and these pieces and does an M2 and R2. So I have linked some videos in the description if you're interested to check them out. These are the videos I used as sources or references for this video. So I'm just trying to give credit where credit is due. And with that, I think this is the end of the video. So see you soon, I guess. Peace out.